Welcome live to the TBN pregame show. I'm Mary Claire Zacharias alongside Sal Valera, Graham Warner, Josh Milnes, and Zach Wolzen. We will be previewing the Week 3 matchup as the St. James Academy Thunder will be taking on the Huskies of Blue Valley Northwest. Let's recap last week for the Thunder. The Thunder fell short to EKL powerhouse St. Thomas Aquinas 41-21 on Friday night. The Thunder battled to keep pace early with the game tied going in the fourth quarter. However, the Saints dominated the run game led by Callan Art as he put on an absolute art show as he exploded for 235 yards and 5 touchdowns, guys. Obviously, Callan Art dominated, and they could not find a way to stop him. What are your key takeaways, and how can the Thunder learn from this going forward?
Well, I think something that Coach Radke really made a big point of saying is you have to play for 4 quarters. Look, Aquinas' offensive line is very good, very strong. They come off the ball, they're going to hit you really hard. So it was no question of whether or not they were going to score points. It was more of a question of, can we limit them to a certain number of points? It's something that Blue Valley did week 1. That was really good. But no, I think that the takeaway here is you just got to play for 4 quarters of football. You got to push past. You got to use the experiences that you had over the summer of having to get through being tired, doing that last sprint when it's super hot outside and you don't want to do it. You got to translate that to the football field, and that's something that the Thunder did not do against Aquinas last Friday.
Yeah, of course, as Josh said, the key to beating Aquinas is you got to get a jump on them early, and that's something we've just struggled to do in past years. So when you let Aquinas control the pace of the game, they can basically do whatever they want.
Absolutely. Playing Aquinas is like a ticking time bomb. You only have a certain amount of time before they really just run away with it. It's also like a second round of conditioning. You really got to play for 4 quarters, like Josh said. The Thunder only played for 3, and they kind of let it get away from them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they didn't take advantage of every opportunity. There were, I feel like, some missed opportunities, like letting plays get out of hand, go, and penalties obviously were a huge problem for them last week.
Yeah. Let's talk about John Hornback, the quarterback for the Thunder. He showed his versatility against the Saints as he threw for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns while also adding 40 yards on the ground. Sal, how big is it for the Thunder to have a quarterback who can throw the ball but is equally good with his legs?
Yeah, and that is a very good thing. I mean, he's versatile. Then that gives defenses another problem. They have to worry about him running and throwing, and he was doing a great job of both. He was very, very much taking advantage of the Saints defense when he was rolling out of the pocket and kind of spreading them out. That's where he got some of those big throws to players like Jet and Canzaneri when they got open. He was hitting them wide, but that was mostly because he started by rolling out of the pocket and spreading that field. So it's really good for them to have a versatile quarterback because that opens up the playbook for Joshi more on offense, but that also gives the defense another thing to worry about.
Absolutely, I agree with you there, Sal. Hornback, once he gets out of that pocket, his read progression skills are absolutely magnificent. He makes the right read just about every time, and that's really what led him to a good performance last week.
I was overall really impressed with John Hornback's performance. He played really, really well in JV last year, and so I knew it was probably only a matter of time before he was thrown and given his opportunity on varsity under Friday Night Lights. But yeah, I think it's exactly what you two said. Just giving the defense another thing to prepare for. That's always the goal.
You wouldn't know it by watching it, but that game against Aquinas in the biggest of stages was his first ever start. And to see how he handled himself after some early struggles, it was really empowering to see, and it's good luck for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And the senior wide receiver, Alec Jett, also made an impact with 4 receptions, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Had a great long ball thrown by Hornback. What makes him such a threat for this Husky secondary on Friday night?
I'll start this one. I'm a big fan of Alec Jett. He's just a big physical guy who's going to moss every defender he touches. His skills and versatility on the field is just absolutely astounding to see, especially last week with that long touchdown thrown by Hornback. The ball was just perfectly placed, and he got out in front of the defenders and took it all the way to the house.
That was with double coverage as well,
Yeah.
so that was a great catch.
I mean, does a great job making those catches in double coverage, but he's also got a little speed to him, and he's able to just kind of, if he can get an opening, he's gone. And he did that once. It was just a short little check down, it looked like. Broke a couple of Aquinas defenders, and he was just gone down the sidelines. So I think he's definitely going to be one to watch out for if I'm the Huskies because he can do it all at receiver.
I mean, certainly he can do it all. I mean, it does help. It did help having Brody Bruggeman, kind of on the other side of the ball. Lots of film or not on the other side of the ball, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like on the other side. Kind of helping, give that double threat. Now that Brody Bergman's out, it's going to be a little interesting to see kind of going forward what that's going to look like. But I think Alec Jett is certainly going to be the wide receiver one for the rest of the season. He has everything that he needs to have success. And, man, I wish I had him on my fantasy team. We're going to get 24 points or something like that.
Yeah, of course. Jet is just a great dynamic playmaker for us, but Northwest is going to know this. They play against these type of players every single week. So when they game plan again around him and take him away, who's going to step up and get us what we need, like get yards, get touchdowns? Who's going to step up if it's not Jet?
I mean, Sal, you mentioned the costly penalties, especially on the first drive of the game for the Saints. I mean, it's a reoccurring issue for their team. On the first drive of the game for the Saints, the Thunder got the stop on 4th down, but then they jumped off sides, which create a fresh set of downs for the Saints. How do the Thunder keep their composure and get their defense off the field early?
It just all comes down to discipline and everyone executing to do their job. And so if they can't do that, you're not going to win games in the EKL. It's as simple as that, especially against Aquinas.
I think that Zach got to it, hit it head on. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah. All right, now let's turn our attention to Blue Valley Northwest, who have playmakers all over the field, guys. The Thunder face a similar back in LJ Bowens this week, who has 6 touchdowns in a span of 2 games. What can the Thunder defense take from last week to improve their ability to stop the run game this Friday night?
I mean, it's just another week for the Thunder. Callan Arndt last week, probably the best running back in the EKL. Moving over to LJ Bowens, and another amazing running back, but the Thunder know how to stop these guys. The Huskies might not have as prestigious as an offensive line as Aquinas, but definitely LJ Bowens possesses all the skills that Callan Arndt has. And he's going to be a threat to this defense. The defense just needs to remain consistent and disciplined on their side of the ball, and I think we'll do great things.
Yeah, Bowens, the clips I've seen of him, he's shifty. He can get out of situations and get that open field really well. Like, he's going to be able to get in the open field, and he'll take advantage of it. So if you're to the defense, you can't give him any space to run. You just got to wrap him up and get him down quick.
I think it's going to come down to what defensive coordinator Coach Denton is always capitalizing. You got to have multiple guys going to the football. You got to have 3 guys making the tackle, because if you got 3 guys on you, you're not going to shift past that. Somebody's going to be able to get their hands on you and wrap you up and slow you down.
Yeah, as Josh said, I think rallying to the ball is really important. I feel like we've done good at that in past weeks, but we just got to be ready for everything. In past years, Northwest, I feel like, has ran the ball a bit more against us because usually they can. So, but we can't get sucked in by that either. We got to be ready for everything. That's what makes this offense so scary.
And this Husky team has some absolute dogs on their team, but let's talk about the wide receiver room, most notably top 2028 recruit Baron Marshall, who makes plays on the football field but also on the hardwood for their basketball team as well. Marshall has racked up offers from Auburn, Ole Miss, and countless more, Tennessee, Mizzou, KU. How do the Thunder plan to contain such a force like him for the whole game, but they also have another wide receiver, Ada McGivney, committed to Central Missouri, so they got a big room, guys.
A player like Marshall, he's really talented. He's got some height to him. So even if we were in perfect coverage, everyone was where they were supposed to be, it still comes down to our player against their player. And some of those times he's going to win that, and that's just something we have to deal with and game plan around. So it brings a really unique challenge that we're going to have to overcome.
I think that's something new for St. James. Last week, obviously, it was very heavily focused on the run defense against Aquinas. Now you've got to watch the run and the pass too, because they have a very talented receiver room. It's going to be tough, but I think the defense has just enough to pull it through, because I think we got some really good players on that side of the ball.
I think going to what Zach said, it is going to be our guy against their guy. And those one-on-one matchups probably aren't going to end up very well. I mean, he's a very talented wide receiver, so it's going to be a lot of, making sure that he's just covered at all times, maybe even double covered, getting into zone defense where there are multiple eyes on him at all times. Just eliminate him from getting the deep ball. That's been a huge issue the past few games. And the teams that they played is just the fact that he can make plays all over the field. So just eliminate the deep ball, keep him to the short game, and I think that you can kind of limit his yards.
Absolutely. Piggybacking off you there, the first quarter I think is essential for this one when both teams are kind of feeling each other out. I think really just finding one matchup that suits Barron Marshall, and he's a matchup nightmare. So you really just got to keep trying and find one matchup that succeeds. If you can find that one or two guys that can keep him at bay the entire game, I think we can put a decent stop to him.
Staying deeper than the deepest is really the goal of the defensive backs.
And he definitely has the height advantage and the speed, too,
Correct.
for the Thunder defense and their secondary. Let's start with our Week 3 predictions. We got number 9, Shawnee Mission East at Mill Valley, Mill Valley lost to Lee Summit North last week. Sal, who do you got?
You know, I feel like Shawnee Mission East are a strong team, but I am going to go with the higher-ranked Mill Valley. Home field, I think Mill Valley is going to do really well this week. Give me the Jags.
Don't get me wrong, I love the Lancers, but I'm going to have to take the Jaguars on this one.
I'm taking Mill Valley on this one. I mean, coming off a loss, they definitely want to come out firing the first quarter. I'm taking Mill Valley. Knock off Shawnee Mission East here.
I'm also going to take Mill Valley here. It's going to be a good game, but I think Mill Valley is going to come out on top. They got all the tools.
I hate to complete the sweep, but I don't want to overstate how powerful or how good of a team this Shawnee Mission East team is this year. They've got like a 2-3-year starter at quarterback, and they'll be really strong in the Sunflower League, but I'm just not sure they can find success this Friday.
Next up, we got number 5 Hayes at 2 Manhattan. Zach, who do you got in this one?
Hayes is a team that I bet against the first 2 weeks of the season, and they've proved me wrong in enormous ways, beating Derby, back-to-back 6A state championship appearances, and then one of the top divisions in Oklahoma, their state champion. They knocked them off last week. But with that being said, give me Manhattan. I think Hayes, if they continue to prove me wrong, they do, but it kind of feels like a unstoppable force meets unmovable object here.
I think you got to learn from your mistakes, Zach. I'm going to take Hayes here. I think that they've really shown a lot of success recently, a lot of improvement. And Manhattan's a really good football team. I mean, they're number 2, but I think Hayes has got what it takes. They've got the grit. They've got the dedication to go out there and want to play.
I got Manhattan over Hayes. Definitely going to be a tight one. Both have good running games, so I'm taking Manhattan in this one, a tight one.
I'm taking Hayes this week. I think that's my upset of the week. I think Hayes is just too hot of a team, and I think they're going to take down the big dog in Manhattan.
You know, in Manhattan, Kansas, there's a lot of losing football right now. Pains me to say that as much as a K-State fan. But you know what? I don't think Manhattan High School is going to be the team to bring that winning football back. Give me Hayes. They are going to be, like Graham said, upset of the week. I think they're pulling this one out. They've had some really good first 2 weeks of the season. I think they keep that momentum going.
Now we got number 20 Blue Valley at number 1 St. Thomas Aquinas. Sal, who do you got in this one?
As much as it pains me to say this, I think Aquinas get this done. They're just a powerhouse right now in the EKL and in the state. I think they get it done.
Need I say more? Every tongue must confess that Aquinas is just the best team in the EKL right now. Give me Aquinas.
Yeah, I'm going to Aquinas in this one. Callan Art is just way too powerful. I mean, he was painting an absolute picture on our broadcast last Friday night. I mean, he went for 5 touchdowns. If no one can stop Callan Art, it's going to be a long night for any team. So I'm going with the Saints.
I mean, on paper here, we got it right in front of us. Aquinas, number 1 seed, Blue Valley, number 20 seed. Aquinas is exponentially better. It's no surprise I'm taking St. Thomas Aquinas.
You know, maybe last year, if this matchup occurred this time of year, I'd expect a really great game. But Blue Valley's defense took a huge hit last year, and I just don't think that's something they can recover from, especially with Aquinas' offense only getting better. Aquinas won 20 in a row now. Give me Aquinas.
Finally, we got number 7 Mays at 15 Hutchinson. Zach, who you got in this one?
Just a couple of 5, or Mays might be 6A. Well, you know, a couple teams out on the West that are really trying to prove their spot and like step into that state contender situation. And so Mays, I feel like they've got some really dynamic. They got a really dynamic quarterback who can do it with his arm and with his legs, and so does Hutchinson. But I think Mays this week has a slight edge.
I think Zach spun that perfectly. I'm going to take Mays.
Yeah, I'm taking Mays as well. Good quarterback in Mays over Hutchinson.
Gonna have to agree with you guys there.
Yeah, Mays, on paper, better team, but that's going to be interesting. A little bit of a Western showdown out for Kansas.
Thank you for watching the TBN Live pregame show. I'm Mary Claire Zacharias alongside Sal Valera, Graham Warner, Josh Milnes, and Zachary Wolzen, and we'll send it up to the booth at Blue Valley Northwest.